Hello, Steve Fletcher here, and welcome to another tuition video. Today we're taking a look at the classic track, Knocking on Heaven's Door. Now, how many different cover versions of this song can you think of? I mean, there's absolutely loads. But we are going to be taking a look at probably the best one for all-round guitarness, which is the Guns N' Roses version, which came out back in the day, early 90s, 91? Some Guns N' Roses geek will correct me, I'm sure, down in the comments. But anyway, about early 90s, 1991, 1990 album, double album, Use Your Illusion. And it's actually off the Use Your Illusion 2 album. And now it has featured quite heavily in the Guns N' Roses live sets ever since. They've sort of really made it their own. It was always done on the Use Your Illusion tour. It's been done on many tours that they've done since, both as the Axl-only incarnation of the band and the recent Not In This Lifetime tours. It was also included on both the Guns N' Roses Greatest Hits that they did, as well as the Live Era album. So they really have sort of tried to make it their own track, and they've succeeded. I think they do really well with it, considering that it's a track that's not particularly made up of a lot. They really do very well in making it seem as though it's got some stages to it. Now, what we're going to be looking at is pretty much all of Slash's parts. So we've got the arpeggios in the verses, the intro and the verses, big distorted chords. What I've done in the choruses, though, is I've tried to sort of zero in on those octave shapes that he does. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a little while. And of course, those two big solos. Alright, so as usual, what we've done is we've shown it at normal speed, I've showed it slowed down, and we're going to dive in to a few other little parts to really help you get to grips with them. Alright. Just one thing to bear in mind is the original track is tuned flat, as are pretty much all Guns N' Roses tracks, but I've kept it in standard. So if you want to just not fart about tuning your guitar to a different tuning, then you've got that option to play along in standard tuning, which is lovely. The only other thing the thing I've also not done, and shout at me in the comments if you want to, is I've not done the sort of second verse of the arpeggio. I've detailed the intro, I've detailed the first verse, but I think by that point you're very established in the song. I would have words with anyone who says that Slash will have played that the same every single take and the same every single live performance. That performance that we have on the studio track, it's just a moment. So when you get into that second chorus, that second verse, stick with those chord shapes, different kinds of arpeggios, but it's all there. And anyone who complains to you that you're not playing the second verse note for note perfectly with those arpeggios needs to get a life, quite frankly. If you want the tabs, you can get them direct from me. All you need to do is follow the link to my website down there in the description, and we'll sort those tabs out for you. Please comment, please like, please subscribe, please send me some requests for more videos, and we'll try and get round to them. But all the best for now. Bye-bye. Okay, let's take a closer look at that intro arpeggio. Now, if you're the kind of guitarist who's like, really into playing things exactly as they are on the record, then I would say that the intro is probably, for the arpeggios, anyway, the intro is probably the one that you really do want to get right. You go into the verses, you can follow Slash's patterns if you wish, but if you just in the verses, there's everything else going on. So you can kind of get away a little bit more with just playing whatever you want. But let's take a closer look at that intro. Right, so yeah, that intro arpeggio, basically what you're doing is you're going round G chord, D chord, and C through that. So that's all you need to really worry about on the intro, chord-wise. There's a couple of little moments where he's just snapping things off, hammering on and pulling off within those chords. So I'll just try and talk you through that as I'm going through it. Okay, so there's a moment where he changes to a D sus2, and there's that moment where you have the C sus2, but back on again and stuff like that. So I'll talk you through it. So starting with the G, the 4-finger G. For those of you who do a 3-finger G like so, it is the 4-finger G that we want. So we're just doing a nice strum of the G. And then coming up, strings 1, 2, 3, and then string 2. Okay? Like that. Changing to the D, but we're not doing a strum of the D, we're just going straight into the pick. Now we go down all the strings of the D, so 4, 3, 2, 1. And then when we've got to string 1 there, that second finger is going to come off, creating that D sus2, and we're going to come back down the strings, the similar pattern to what we did for the G. So we're going to go string 1, 2, 3, 2. So we get this all in full. Then we're going to go to the C chord. Now, obviously, C chord is that, but we don't sort of go to that straight away. What we're playing there is we're going to play strings 4 and 3, which are going to be both open. And as we do that, that second finger is going to go onto its position in the C chord. So we get this like that. And then what I did with the picking was string 5, 3, 2, 3, 4. Okay. C is now on. It's staying on for the moment. And we're going to pick strings 1, 2, 3, 1, 3. In fact, no, I've just said a lie. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Like that. So that's... And then we get this hammer on again, creating a C suspended 2, hammering it back on though. Okay? And I plucked string 4, 5, and 4. So that takes you around one rotation of the G, D, and C, and that whole thing sounds like this. Then we get it again. G, same again. But when we go to the C, there's no messing about with the sus2s or anything. We're just going down and up the C. 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, 5. It's hard this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we do 3 lots of strings 2, 3, 4. So that's your intro, and that whole thing would sound like this. Okay, so looking at the verse, and the verse takes a little bit more getting used to, because what we actually do is we add the A minor 7. And for those of you who are not in the know, there's two common ways of doing the A minor 7, and Slash does them both. There is your A minor chord. There's one way of doing A minor 7 where you are taking off finger 3 to add the open G string there. Or you can add the G, the high G, on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. So both of those are A minor 7, and Slash does make use of them both. Okay, now the G, you get G, D, A minor 7, G, D, C. Okay, now the G's and the D's start off pretty much the same as they do in the intro with that suspended 2. So you get something that sounds like this at first. And then we get the A minor 7. Now he actually changes from A minor to A minor 7 midway through this. And we have a hammer on of this C note. So we go B, open B string, hammering on the C there. So you get, on the A minor, you go in strings 5, 4, 3, 2. And when you get to string 2, you're getting that hammer on, like so. Back down, strings 3, 4, and then a jump up to string 1. So we get something that sounds like this. Okay, and then we come around again, another little round of the A minor, but this is where we change, and you'll see my 3rd finger come off to the A minor 7. And what we're doing is we're picking strings 2, 1, 2. In fact, what we're doing is we're plucking strings 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3. And that last string 3, I'm actually coming off because we would be midway to changing to G. No strum of G, but we're going to go into those picked just like they are on the intro. So we've got a C chord there, and we have a C and a pluck of strings 3 and 2, but then a little break. Whole. And then what we had there was strings 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. And then we have G, G to D, and D sus2 again. And then here we have again, we have the A minor 7, same idea as what we had before with that hammering on of the B to the C, but this time he adds the other A minor 7, the G on the 1st string. So we're doing string wise, we're going 5, 4, 3, 2, and when we hit that 2, it's the hammer on, and then we're going to do strings 3, 4, and then that high 1st string with the G. Like that. G comes off, creating an A minor again, and then we get this 3, 2, 1, and then 3, 2, 2, but it all comes off to go back to the G. And then when we hit that C, we're going C, 4, 3, 2, and then 3 lots of 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2. And then you're in the chorus. All right, so let's have a little closer look at these octave shapes. Now, if you're not familiar with the term of octaves, guitar octaves, or octaves in music in general, it might be a little bit confusing. Guitarists are quite lucky with their octaves in that they can place an octave in quite a nice, neat shape on the fretboard to do with your bar chords. It's all music theory. I don't want to bore you too much. But basically what you've got, basically the idea of an octave is 2 identical notes, but higher and lower than each other. So a C all the way up to the next C, or an A all the way up to the next A, and a G all the way up to the next G, and all that kind of stuff. And the basic, very, very simple way of doing it on guitar, you've got this lovely, it's like an L-shape pattern. So, for instance, if we have, if we play, which we do on Knocking on Heaven's Door, you know, a G, there's a G right there on fret 10 of your A string. There is a G. And there is another G, that L shape, 2 strings up, 2 frets across, will get you to fret 12, okay, on your G string. Now what's happening there is I'm only playing those 2 notes. And in the strum, everything else kind of gets muted out. You do hear those muted notes, but that's kind of what gives you that whole sound. And that can just be moved around. So that's it on strings 5 and 3. You can, if you want to, do that same shape on strings 6 and 4. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but you can do it. So, and there you go. Now, if you jump up, this is just something for you to be aware of. If you do jump up even further than that, if you go to string 4, for instance, it is still 2 strings up to your next octave, but because of the way the guitar is tuned, it's not 2 frets up. It's 3. I can't speak today. It's 3 frets up. So instead of having 2 up and 2 across like that, you get 2 up and 3 across. So that I'm doing right now, that's an A there, and your A is there. So that's fret 7 on the 4th string, the D string, and that's fret 10 on the 2nd, the B string. You'll not do it very often on the 1st and 3rd string, but it's that same shape again, 1 and 3. So there you go, a little bit of introduction in the idea of octaves for you there. I do more of this in my guitar tuition guide. Links in the description. But there you go. But Slash does put these octave shapes in the choruses. So we're going to take a closer look at those. So those octaves, we start off with that. Obviously with the chorus, there's loads of distortion on. Let me get rid of that wire. Bit better, isn't it? So obviously with the chorus, there's loads of distortion on, which I've knocked off for the purposes of this, so you can really see and hear what I'm doing. So the chorus, that first chorus, you get just a normal G, D, and C. Now I'm doing it as a bar chord. You can do it as the open chords if you want. So G, D, C, and then we get this first octave shape. So we're going 10 and 12. Down to 9, 11, down to 7 and 9, like so. Now then the second lot we do, bit more involved, so what we get is like a little rundown. So we're going 7 down to 5. I'm talking first finger here, your other fingers are just going to follow. So 7 down to 5, twice, 5 down to 3, twice, 3 down to 2, and then we get this lovely moment where he adds the G and then plays that. It sounds great. So that little rundown, and with the distortion on everything, that sounds terrific. And then we get some higher ones again, 9 and 11, 7 and 9. Then we go right up, 14 and 16, 12 and 14, and back to the G. And that's your octaves for that part. Alright, so then looking at those last little octaves, obviously right at the end of the song, they stay on the C. You do the normal chorus, and then they stay on that C, and we have this great little run up. Just to sort of build up to the ending. It's we had those slides. in the chorus. It's just that same kind of idea. What he's doing is he, instead of strumming the octave there, he's playing, so you get that octave ring but with the two separate notes. So that's the idea. So then you're going from 3 to 5, sliding up 7 to 9, sliding up 7 and 9 up to 10 and 12, and then 10 all the way up to 15. That's C there, 15 and 17, and then just dropping it back down to the 12 and the 14, to the 14 and the 16 to finish. And that is your lot. And of course, we get these lovely solos. Now, in the track, in the full track that you've just seen, I go through everything, all those solos there, and I do them in slowed down as well. But I'm just going to show you them again, zoomed in, with no other tracks on there, just so you can have a really close look at what's going on there. Now, solo 1, nice and slow on solo 1. Here it comes. Now, there's a few little moments in there you might have noticed the note was just dying a bit. When you've got your distortion on and stuff, that won't happen. All right, let's look at that second solo. A little bit harsher on the second solo. What I generally do is I knock the bridge pickup on. Because I've got the clean on, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference. But here it is anyway. FYI, I love that little semitone bend there. Again, just FYI on that, you're on the 9 there earlier on, and there's that slide down to the 7. I like to do that slide. I just engage that third. It's one of those slides. It doesn't really matter where you go from, but you get if you go with that third finger down, you just get a lot more of the slide. And then, of course, your hand position's right for your 5s and what have you. So just there you go. Just something to think about. Please comment, please like, please subscribe, please send me some requests for more videos and we'll try and get round to them. But all the best for now. Bye bye.